So here we have this absolutely gorgeous bracelet as a tribute to Klimt, and is made around a focal circle point. The technique of embellishment is very similar to this bracelet that should be out already on my channel, and you can look for it. So let's have a look at the structure of the bracelet. So the bracelet is made around a circle component made in circular peyote stitch, which is then embellished, and then we attach on the circle the required number of beads for the strap. To keep the attention on the focal point, I have decided to have a plain bracelet strap, and the clasp is the usual lobster clasp. You can decide after you attach the closed ring for another type if you prefer. The materials needed are seed beads in two sizes, 11/0 and 8/0. Then to decorate, to embellish the focal point, we need pearls. I have used here three sizes, 2mm, 4mm and 6, but you can use only two sizes quite well. Then I have used some sequins. Here I have used the square ones and the star-shaped ones, and then the clasp components. For the thread, the Nymo thread and the usual beading thread, beading needle. Let's start our circle. For this we pick up 56 seed beads, 11/0, so it would be kind of this size with 56. We don't actually need delicas because of the embellishment will cover any lack of regularity that is brought by the usual round seed beads. So we make a knot. Okay, now we move our thread a few beads away from the knot. And here we start our circular peyote. It's just the basic technique. Pick up one, skip one, go through the next one. And that's all we need to do, and go around the circle. And I always always try to make sure that the tension of the thread is moderately equal. So the beads actually take this position of sitting one on top of the other. Let me try. Okay, I hope it's a good image just now. And we go around the circle. I can make a few of these stitches of the camera, and I will meet you when we get here to the last stitches so I can show you how we step up. So here we have a few more stitches to finish this first row of peyote. And here at the last stitch, so we pick up one, skip one, and the needle would go through this one. So we go through this one, and the first seed bead that we have added in this round this way, and we call this step up. We can place our thread in the bead ready to start the next row. Now the next step is to add 2 more 11-0 peyote rows, and I will use just a different color so it's easy for us later in the tutorial. So pick up one seed bead and just place it in between 2 consecutive seed beads. It's very easy. Just go around the circle, and when you get to the last stitch, just make sure to step up through the last seed bead of the previous row and the first seed bead of this row. As you see, it's quite fast to peyote around. Keeping a good tension will make sure that there is no slack between the seed beads. A good tension, but don't kill it. And we are nearly at the end of this first row of peyote after we have set up the base circle. Okay, nearly there. And here we are at the last stitch. Pick up your seed bead, skip one and in the base, and go through these two, the last one and the first one, in one go. So the last one from the previous row and the first one from this row. And now we add another row on top of this one. So here I have beaded the second row, the last stitch, and just to show you again, pick up one, skip this one, go through these two in one go, and we step up. After we have finished these two peyote on this side, we move the thread through the warp on one of the sticking out beads on the other side. Okay, let's see how we do this so you can see it too. We just follow the existing thread path. Okay, and the thread path takes us here, as you can see. Okay, and now we make another two peyote rows on this side. And let me move my thread, and we just continue with the same step that we have just added. I will make this off the camera, and I will come back when these two rows are finished on the other side. Okay? And here we are near the end of the second row of peyote on the other side of the starting spine. And here we have to step up. Okay. In this phase, our circle should look like a band. Okay, quite regular, I would say, for the round seed beads. Now let's bring over our 8/0 seed beads that will create the second part of our circle. And we just peyote using this size on the base circle. So pick up 1 8/0, go through the next 11/0, and that's all we do. The technique is absolutely the same around the circle, and the same technique at the end of the row when we have to step up. Okay, so just add your 8/0s around the circle, or better said, around the circular band just now. And make sure that the tension of the thread is tight. And here I'm back with the last stitches of this first row of peyote with 8/0. And here we make sure we step up, so pick up our 8/0, skip the 11/0 in the base, and go through this 11/0 and this 8/0 in one go. If you can't do it in one go, just do it one bead after the other. Okay, and the last 8/0, let's make it sit nicely here. So as you can see, the 8/0 loop has been caught under the loop. So okay, good. And now it's fine. Okay, now we add another row with 8/0 seed beads. So pick up one and go through the next 8/0 that sticks out. And this difference of size between the initial 11/0 and these 8/0s will give the curve of the circle. We make sure we sit up the beads if they are stubborn. Let's bead together the last few stitches. So here you press with your thumb to make sure that the beads actually sit one by the other. Good tension, and then good position. Okay, see, one more. Here we help them. Okay, and here we have the last stitch, so this means that we have to step up, so we go through 2 8/0s. Okay, and we help this to sit nicely. Okay, so this is what we have at the end of this step. Now we repeat the same sequence of adding 2 8/0 peyote rows on the other side of the band. So we just transfer the thread here and we continue with the same technique. So let's go through this one. Just make sure that the threads don't catch. And your thread should come out, one of the sticking out 11 O's from the other side. So like this. And now we continue by adding 2 rows of 8 O's on this side. So let's start together with a few beads, just like this. Okay, go around. When we get here, we just step up and then we add another row. Here we have the last beads of the first row of 8 O's on the second side, and done. And here we step up through these 2. Okay, and we continue with the second row of 8 O's. Just around the circle. Okay, and here we have the last few stitches of the second row. And as you can see, here is where we step up, just like this. Okay, now let's have a look at our work. You can see that on the side, the 8 O beads just naturally lift up and create the side of our circle. See? Here we have one more step of our work to finish off this. We add one more row of peyote on this side, and then we zip up using that row to the other side. Let's go. I am using some black 8 O's for what I would call the zip up row. So this would be just an absolutely normal peyote around the circle. Here on this last row, if you want to use like 2 or 3 millimeter pearl, it can work as well. And I will actually use a few stitches just to see how they look like. Okay. And here we have the 3mm pearls. And this is for you to know that you have an option and you can decide for a different type of bead without any problem. And here, as you can see, we have the step up point, and this is where we press the sides together and we start to zip up. So to zip up means from the zip up row we go through immediately the sticking out bead from the other side and then connect with the next bead from the zip up row, then connect with the next sticking out bead from the other side, and then with a zip up bead. So we just actually pick up the beads from this side to connect with the other side together through this zip up row or beads. Okay, so let's have a wee look. Looks like this, which is exactly what we want. And we go around and good tension at all times, so the circle takes the right shape. Gently pull, but firmly. And the last stitches. And here we are back to where we've started. So here we have our circle, the focal point base. Okay, you need to help a little to make sure that the shape is flat until the tension, you know, between the beads will settle a little. Because this is quite an important row, I would go back again and retrace the same thread path, because it's important. As you see here, the shape is quite curly. Where we have bigger pearls, it sits quite well. The problem is here, so even if these are labeled as 8 O's, compared with these 8 O's, you can see that they are slimmer. So this means that it's not quite the best choice. It's just for you to know that if the shape doesn't sit nicely like this one, is because the last zip up is not the right size, is smaller than it should be. So the zip up, when you are working, you can obviously use the same size as the 8 O's on the side, which will give you a nice curve, or even a slightly bigger size of beads, but for sure not smaller, because if they are smaller, they will give you this shape. Now let's start the embellishment of our circle for this look. We are going to use the 2 8-0 rows as base for our embellishment, and with the thread going through this one, we will use this one, then this one, and we just go around using these beads as the anchoring beads. Then we are going to use the principle of 3. So we are going to bead as embellishment 3 consecutive in pearls, for instance, 3 consecutive in sequins, and we just go around. Okay, so let's move our thread into one of the 8 O's, and let's say that we pick up one 3mm pearl and one stopper bead. Drop the beads, go down the pearl and make a circle around the base anchoring bead. And now we go to the left, in this case, to the next bead from the circle. And let's pick up the second pearl from the cluster of 3. We drop it, and then we go around the bead and move through the next one. Just like this. Here we have to be very careful with the threads that tend to catch a lot. And again, pearl, stopper bead, back through the pearl, back through the base 8-0, and move the thread to the next one. Okay, so here we have our first small cluster. And now let's see how it works with a sequence. go back through the sequin and move to the next one like this, and very careful with the threads. Here we pick up another sequin and a stopper bead on top of the sequin, back to the sequin, and look for the next one. Okay, careful. I am actually covering with my thumb the previous work so the thread doesn't catch. And here we are, as you can see, at the last anchoring point. Go around the anchoring point and move to the next seed bead, just like this. And now you can continue with another cluster of 3 of pearls. Okay, and this is how we go around until we get our focal point, all of it embellished. Let me show you now, after you have finished your embellishment, how to attach the peyote strap to your circle. So the peyote strap will come from the other side. So this is the top side, here we have the bottom side, let's call it. And we just move the thread from our last embellishment bead on the 11-0 seed beads. So here we have where we have finished our 8-0, and this would be the first 11-0 that sticks out. Okay, and that would be our, let's call it, anchoring point. So let me bring in some black 11-0s. So I am anchoring on 1, pick up 1, go through the next one that sticks out, and here we have 2, 1, and we add as many 11-0s as we want our strap to be wide as, okay, you get it. So here I have picked up 1, 2, 3. Let's pick up another one. And is this one. So here we have picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the base. And now we just continue a peyote strap on these beads. Now we already have the base for our peyote strap. And now we continue for the length we need. Just like this. At the end, we just attach closed ring. And in my previous tutorials, I show you how easy it is to attach that closed ring. Now let's see how do we find the place where we start the second strap. So we have 5 plus 5, 10, 28 sticking out peyote seed beads minus 10 equals 18, divided by 2, we need to have 9 seed beads in between the straps. So let's see how we count it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And this one is the first of the next strap. Okay? Obviously here we start a new thread. I'm just going to use my old thread. Just show you how we start. So this is 1, pick up 1, go through the second, pick up another one, look for the one that sticks out, look for the one that sticks out, and we had here 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So our strap is okay. If you want to check if we've done well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here starts the second strap. So we've done it well. And we start our peyote just in the same way. Here we make sure that the tension is tight. Okay, and here you have the start of the second strap in the right position to be nice and symmetrical. Okay, now what can I say? I hope you like this design, and I hope that the tutorial was clear enough for you. If you have any questions, just let me know, leave me a comment, and yeah, see you next time with another tutorial. Thank you. Ciao ciao. Oh.